Unmute your mic.
You
I literally told you right before. I literally said it right before.
You did. Which reminds me of the 17 times my wife told me. She goes, "Hey, you're gonna put money in for the accounts for the retiring teachers?" 17 times, and finally I was like, "When did you do it?" And so, but I'm in my own world. Hey, welcome everybody. This is the perfect segue into a Parental Mental Health Tuesday. The Parents Lounge Live. I'm Jamie Kaler. We're joined as always by my partner, Jason Gowin. We have two fantastic moms, Kate Mulligan and Celia Behar is back, dirty, funny, and a therapist. So we're gonna get some shit resolved.
Everything this show sorely needed.
Honestly, the things that we're missing. Yes, funny and therapy. Hey, thank you. I see already a ton of people jumping in. I missed last week, so I have 2 weeks of heavy baggage on my chest that I need to dump. So hopefully the rest of you out. Yay! 2 sweary leaves, says Genevieve Elizabeth and Maureen. No, hey all, not drink tonight because you sound drunk, but I get it.
So she's not drinking tonight because she's already there.
Yeah, maybe she's already, or maybe she's just on mushrooms and she doesn't want to mix the two.
I hit the scotch tonight, and I made a small cheese plate to go with it because Carlo said that's the best way to do it.
That's true. I love it. It's just cheese. There's no crackers. It's just cheese, like a cheese plate.
I ran out of time.
Listen, hey,
Jesus killer. At least I had a snack.
My toddler's got me sick. Yeah, we're going to talk about that tonight, Maureen. Listen, thank you guys. And for all you guys who share the show, it's amazing. We've gotten so many other people who've come in and said, oh my gosh, our mental health is being helped immensely. So thank you guys for sharing. If some of you want to share, all you have to do is share the link to your page and it'll blast out to more people. Definitely help us out. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. On Twitch, I don't know, go watch some other dude play a video game. I don't know. I don't know how Twitch works.
Hey, I had something funny said to me about our show today at Jason's kindergarten graduation. One of the parents said, watching our show might be the best form of contraceptive ever invented.
I would not argue with that. I would not, says Sean Patrick Murphy. We'll talk about that too. Maybe we'll have Sean pipe in for a minute because, dude, we were talking earlier. I'm having some breakdowns, so I want to get to the show as fast as possible because I really need some help from Celia. And I mean, I don't need any help from Mulligan, but she makes me laugh, so I love having her.
I think Mulligan is delightful.
Absolutely hilariously funny. I'm not sure delightful is the right word, but I mean funny, right? Like at her funeral, people are gonna go, dude, was she funny or was she funny? And then someone will go delightful, and then the guy, I don't know about delightful, but and everyone go, yes, funny, very funny.
I tried, Kate.
He did. He really tried. She's in the green room watching. So, all right. Hey, listen, we're going to do this thing. You got 90 seconds to go. Mix yourself a drink. We already have a ton of people coming in. Obviously.
They apparently need us this week.
There's a little surge. Look at me. I'm not even that. I'm like poor. I'm alone too. My wife's leaving town again tomorrow. The kids are out there. We'll talk about it. All right, listen. You got 90 seconds. Just mute it a little bit if you don't want to hear Jason and I sing a wonderful song about being parents. And definitely share this thing because a lot of people need help. Okay, that's it. Are you ready to start this show, sir?
Always.
Get it! We could have homes on separate coasts, go diving with squids. Could have been so gleaming rich that we had kids. They won't smile for photo. They won't eat the food we choose. That's why we're heading to parents' minds. Drown ourselves in booze. Every day we're more exhausted. We haven't slept in years. Hit me in the nuts so bad, my eyes fill up with tears. And yes, we like to fake our death, go off of the grids. But the truth is we are soft as sand, we truly love our kids. So join us every Tuesday night to laugh at all our pain. Evening in the parents' mind, just a cure to staying sane.
Well, that's a great start to this show.
There is in the chat, you guys. Was there an insane echo? Yes. Yeah, reverb much. Thank you, Maureen. Okay. Jason convinced me it was just me. I was like,
no, I did not. That is not what I said. I thought it was the video, and it turns out it was correct. Is anybody else getting reverb now?
No.
No.
But
So
one of you should have been.
I'm already sick of you.
No, one of you should have been fucking muted. That background noise is not. Thank you, Celia. Thank you, Celia. Thank you, Celia. Thank you, Celia.
Well, Celia, thank you for joining us and also turning on me immediately.
Yep.
Wait, can I just say that on never thought I'd say this to your point about the contraceptive. We've started calling ourselves Plan C. Me and Jody. We're like, our podcast is Plan C. Fuck Plan B, Plan C.
So we're like Plan F or G then?
Maybe. And speaking of C's, I'm having a rare drink on a school night, and this is my monogrammed, cup. The C is for cunt, in case any.
Mother, no!
That's my girl!
You didn't have to tell us that. We knew that. Hey, by the way, I'm going to hand deliver you a Parents Lounge wine glass and a rocks glass. We got to get you some shit for this.
Oh, sweet. I mean, this is.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys, everybody, for coming in. I already feel some of the anxiety coming off my chest. I'm really happy to have Kate Mulligan and Celia Behar join us.
I don't want anything coming off my chest. I have nothing to spare. It's all.
Can I tell you?
Frankly, I'm sporting some healthy C cups currently, so
I'm going to do Mulligan. Here's what Mulligan's joke's going to be after that. She goes, coming off my chest, no. But on, sure, yeah.
Sure,
that's
sure.
Mulligan's. That's where Mulligan would go with the joke.
I've started lying to people and telling them I had tits before I had kids and they just sucked me dry. I feel like that's like a good way to go, right? That's sexy.
Also, I do feel like there's something when you don't have tits and you're as skinny as you are, it's just basically everybody wants to be an androgynous 14-year-old boy. Like, you're my true north, let's be honest.
Oh God, come on. I got skinnier over the last, few weeks for reasons that you guys know. So,
Yeah.
I go the opposite way. I'm gaining weight.
Yeah, don't even.
And can I tell you, yesterday I had an audition. It was for this. Actually, it was a really funny spot. It's a spokesperson for DoorDash, but you had to be in the pool in the last shot of it. So I had to take my shirt off in an audition, and I was like, I felt like Coco in Fame. I was like,
I was gonna make that same fucking joke. I was gonna say, well, now you knew how Coco felt. Right. I'm sorry. We don't, as women, have so much sympathy for men that are like, "Oh, did you have to take your shirt off?" Like, oh, boo-hoo. That's wah. Like, fuck that. Every girl is in like a bikini. Oh, and P.S. Your post on Instagram, Jamie, about like the billboard. Is your vagina okay? Are you okay? That was
listen, trust me, I love that billboard. Very, very. Hey, I can hear music too. Is the music still playing?
Probably.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, do you mean the music that made there be a reverb when we played the opening? That's so fascinating.
Two versions of the same song. Shut up, Mulligan.
I'm just saying.
Thank God we're not in the same room. We kill each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Claire kept pulling. She's like, we need to do the show together. I don't think that's a good idea.
Why were you so offended by that billboard? You were offended. You were like granny offended Like Yenta Granny Hadassah lady offended. Oh my, like I heard
She said Hadassah.
In fucking accent. Yeah, you're like, oh my god, look at this lady's vagina.
Yeah,
that's what you're saying.
You're wearing a sweater,
dude. She's got a vagina, big fucking deal,
dude.
Yeah.
Please, the sweater is fully shaved. I don't know what you're talking about. So yeah, this is a billboard. This is on the corner of our block, basically here in Los Angeles Apparel. Listen, I mean, obviously, I did it with a little bit of sense of humor. I'm not walking door to door getting signatures. I'm not that guy. I thought it was more, and actually, I have another billboard I found that I'm going to do another one. Someone
did kick his lady parts. Like
I have to.
I almost commented, and then I was like, "Fuck that! I'm going on the show. I'll say something." Commenting on shit. I'll do it publicly.
Listen, there's a place for pornography, and it's on my
phone.
Safari. Yeah, it's on Safari, I believe. That's
Jamie, let me see when you last cleared your history and
7 minutes ago. It was weird. Dinner. I had like a minute and a half before the show, and I still had to fucking delete history. It's like, honestly, and even the computer was like, seriously, I'm deleting again? Jamie, maybe we should do some of these sites. I go, no, I'll get rid of it all.
Well, you saw what happened with mine. It became so alarming that life coaches started contacting me.
Yeah.
Like one of them? Is that how we connected originally? Was I like...
Yeah. I actually, I responded to the ad.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. Fuck that. I would have been like, what are you watching? Do I want to watch it?
What's incognito mode?
Murphy's right. There's an incognito mode where it doesn't register any of them, I think, right? Is that what it says, Sean?
How does one go into an incognito?
It's very honestly, somebody showed me one time and I was like, oh, why aren't we all on this? And they were like, I don't know why. But yeah, there's an incognito mode, I think.
Is that like the hidden photos thing that you can do where you put like... You
got to do that too.
I know.
Oh, actually, that's what I was going to do today.
I have like a whole spank bank full of shit in my income. I mean, in that, I just totally in there.
You really need a VPN. Hold on, Jobo. What is a VPN? Somebody hook me up.
Oh, VPN, yeah.
VPN, it disguises your IP address.
Your IP address.
Oh, I thought
but that
they
doesn't
don't know where you are. So, I mean, if you're into like men and horses or men and women and horses, like you can hide that you're looking at that and be...
But can somebody pull up it? Could somebody pull it up on your phone?
Search history now, Jason. What the fuck?
Yeah. He went straight. He was
an example. It wasn't from my own. Look, my wife.
Jason's like, if you really love to play Equus.
What?
Jason's like, if you really
what
love
I
to
dress
play
up
Equus.
like in my own time is none of your fucking business.
That's how they role play, Kate.
Oh God,
superhero stuff here.
My buddy, we were talking about. I got a Theragun. This is what dudes talk about. And then I was like, oh, I got a Theragun. He goes, I got a Theragun too. He goes, they have a handle / strap thing, and so you can insert the Theragun into it and work it around the back. And the other guy was like, oh my God, they have this other backpack type of thing, and you put the Theragun in and you put the backpack. And I was like, I think they have a belt too. There's a belt, and the Theragun points straight forward. And then what you do is you get to massage your friend. And he goes, that doesn't sound right to me.
Yeah. I've had that Theragun before.
That's the Therafun.
I've massaged a friend that way.
Therapegging. I believe I just learned the term pegging recently, and I'm going to use it as much as humanly possible.
Yeah. And you know what? That person and I ended on super bad terms like 4 years ago, and he's fucking lucky that I am a woman of class because I could say his name right now.
But, oh my God, say his name, say his name.
Say his name.
If no one is around, you will say, baby, his name.
Listen, that was like that was a whole thing that I had to be like, oh, I guess I can do this, and you guys don't know how lucky you guys have it. I'm just saying, like, what?
So it's funny you were talking about hiding photos, because here's what's happened. We finally got my daughter a new iPad. And so I go into iPad and I put time limits on her, all of her stuff, right? I'm trying to figure the whole thing out, a time limit it. And of course,
get rid of that anyway.
She got it rid of 2 seconds ago. Yeah, she's like, oh, and she figured out how to get rid of it. But it went over to my computer. Apparently, they're linked on my phone
Ideal.
I'll put it on my computer later, and the computer's like, you're past your time limit. You can't go any further. And I go, what the fuck? And so I couldn't.
Not ideal. Not ideal.
I was like, did I just time limit myself? Are you shitting me? I time limited myself. And I look up at my kids on our iPad gloriously, and I'm like, I can't get into my computer. The thing, I was like, damn it. And so I wanted to talk about, and maybe we can get help from people. I know Jobo, and we have a bunch of people who are IT people, but I have got to figure out how to, everything's linked. And if your kid, like, she doesn't know, should I just get her own email so that she no, right?
Yes. No, stop listening to them. Yes, she can have her own email. You don't give her the password and log it. It's create the email for her.
Okay.
Okay. I'm coming around.
She doesn't need that.
But here's the thing, and then I was wondering.
You mean you want to give her her own Apple ID?
That I think she eventually they're going to
so that she's not linked to your, so that she's okay, so that your device isn't linked to hers.
You'll still run it. So that's with my youngest. I have, and I did it with my oldest too. I created all of their stuff. And so it's in different emails, but I'm the one that can access them.
So you have to.
That's smart. Okay.
Check that email often and see that email, or does it just come to your mail?
No, it goes to her email, and I can just log in and read all her email. Now, the older one has created her a separate email that she emails her friends, and I don't have any interest in that. But I have all of the passwords into her social media. I can go in as her, and I found a fucking vape in her Halloween trick-or-treating bag. Not weed, but tobacco. I would have been actually probably cooler with that.
Yeah, obviously.
I went in. She like threw one of her friends under the bus. For it's not mine. Like also like, bitch, please miss me with.
Wait, what was it? It was a vape.
Yeah, I
like
found
it
in her trick or treating bag. Like she forgot it was in there, and then she's all, "It's not mine, it's my friend's." I was like, I fucking created that. It's like, miss me with your bullshit. Fuck you.
Yeah.
And so I was like, which friend? And she told me. So I went into her Instagram and I sent that friend a picture of the vape as my daughter because I can. And the friend wrote back and said, "Oh my God, are you going to bring that on Monday so I can clean it and we can switch?" They were clearly sharing it. I wrote back, "No, because this is her mom. So I'm going to keep it. And I'm sorry we haven't met. I can't wait to meet you in real life at some point." And that she was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." Like, because so fuck that. So I can see. And every so often her friends will realize that I'm in there. So then they'll start like being like, "Is this Harper's mom?"
Wow.
Here's an important question. Was that friend a 42-year-old guy who works at Chief Auto Parts?
Yes, and her future husband.
And does he love Equus? Listen, these are the things we need to know.
Yeah.
Got a Theragun if your back's sore or other areas.
I've got that belt it goes on, so we're good.
Stephanie Hansen.
Tuesday.
By the way, you guys, I need you to buckle up. I don't know if Stephanie Hansen's been here before. She's the funniest woman on the planet. Just buckle up. This one. No pressure, Stephanie.
Well, maybe we should start Vape Talk Thursdays, maybe, and that should be just a private little show.
Wait, but Celia, so let me ask you, as a therapist.
Yeah.
What boundary? So, how old's your oldest?
My oldest is going to be 16 in October.
Okay, so 16 and okay, so she's 15. You found a vape pen. You go in as her. Do you feel like there's any what boundaries are our kids allowed to have?
I did it in front. Listen, she was sitting next to me.
She knew it. Okay.
I didn't do it behind her back. I think that listen, I knock before I open up the door so I can, all that shit. I want to make sure that she's I want to respect her privacy, but I also need her to understand, I pay for all your shit.
Yeah.
Very much in old school Cosby. I gave you
yeah,
you take it back.
Yep.
I do think that you can have boundaries, but I think that you really do have to make it so that they understand that they can't do anything.
Yeah.
You are watching them.
Yeah.
And honestly, I see the friends of hers whose parents don't fucking pay attention.
Yep.
They're assholes and my kid doesn't like them.
Yeah.
And I have to say to her all the time, deep down that kid's hurting because her parents are letting her do anything and she doesn't think they care. So she just does whatever because they don't think they care. By the way, she was like, "What are you going to do with that vape pen?" I said, "I'm going to fucking keep it because if the zombie apocalypse happens, I'm going to need it and you can't have it." But honest, and I didn't punish her. I took what I wish I took some flack for at the time. I didn't give her a consequence really. I took the vape away. I talked to her about it, and I was like, "There's no consequence I can give you that you're really going to give a shit about. I will just tell you this: there are natural consequences here. Your aunt died of cancer, so congratulations. Like, yes, it wasn't lung cancer, but like, really, that's where you want to go. But parents are going to find out you're the kid that's vaping, and guess what? They're not going to want you around their kids. You'll lose friends. You're going to be deemed as a shitty kid. If you get caught on campus with it, you get sent home. You could get expelled. There's all kinds of crap. I was like, I don't have to do anything to you. You want to keep doing this, then do it. Because really, like, we all had natural, we had natural consequences as kids, and our parents all like probably beat us and shit. Or at least like, when my mom was like, "You're never gonna smoke again," I was like, "You're right, I'm not," and like walked upstairs. I was like, "Fuck, I'm not." Like, I'm gonna buy all kinds of cigarettes. Like that was not a consequence.
Oh yeah.
So, what my question is, she was vaping tobacco.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was it like a fruity flavor or something? Like a
Jamie's just finding out you can vape tobacco.
She should have been like, "Mom, the problem is I really like the flavor of cotton candy, and I couldn't find it anywhere else except for the vape pen."
Like, listen, they know I was like a former smoker. So
my father chain smoked my whole life. I have 4 sisters. They all chain smoked. We had the abalone shell ashtray in the house that was filled.
Yeah.
Like overfilled with cigarettes when I was a kid. I hated smoking cigarettes.
Oh my God.
I don't understand why people smoke cigarettes, but I understand why people smoke pot. I really do.
I'm eating pot right now.
Yes. So that's kind of my question, is to be like, what are you doing? What are you wasting your time smoking cigarette with like tobacco for? There's no.
But my kids have been raised to know that cannabis is a medicine. Like, they know I use it. They've known I've used it for forever. I'm not like high around them or anything. I just use it for anxiety. I had like Yahoo articles and shit written about me. I was on Joey Diaz's show talking about it. We got into like a fight, him and I.
He's an easy guy to get along with. That seems so strange that you could get into a fight with him.
First of all, I love him. I
do too. He's funny, but
I love Joey. He's fucking great.
If you wanted stage time on the Comedy Store stage, I guess you would have had to blow him. Is that how that?
He has a daughter who's like super young, and
I used to see them at the park. I think they moved to Nashville recently or Austin or something, but they were at my park.
No, I love Terry. I mean, I've known her for forever, and I love Joey, but he like, it's so funny for someone as high as him. He's like, nobody's ever going to talk about weed in front of my kid. She's never going to know about pot. He like got down. He like jumped. I was like, she's going to know all this shit anyway.
Yeah, like, it seems like a very slippery slope to walk, because I would rather educate them myself than have them learn it, like.
Also, Joey Diaz, are you aware that you have a show that your daughter is going to be able to find?
Yeah. I mean, listen, Jason and I were just talking about this the other day. I'm hypothetically, some parent somewhere could have edibles in their house that hypothetically maybe a child got into at some point. Hypothetically.
Sorry, we're not outing ourselves.
If it actually happened, that'd be a DCFS issue. But hypothetically, that could have happened, and that parent might have really, questioned their judgment on.
You know what I just thought of? Here's what they should stop making them into gummies. They should make it like into broccoli. Or like Brussels sprout, like, oh, this is Brussels sprouts, but it's
well, I tell you, they like changed all the packaging and all the names and stuff, right? In cannabis, they like pulled all the names and all the packaging had to they did. They did. The flavors didn't change, but they did change packaging, and they had to here and in Oregon and in Colorado, like all the Star Wars things and like things that were like really appealing to kids. They pulled that, all went down in Proposition whatever.
Meanwhile, completely related, nerds everywhere stopped consuming as much weed.
Yeah,
they're like, what happened to the Chewy Bacas?
Mulligan, hypothetically, how much Star Wars stuff might be in your home?
Listen, I've got the looks.
Go the opposite. It should be like a little box that says the autobiography of Walter Mondale or something where people are like, I'll take, like, give me a Walter Mondale and I have a Mike Dukakis.
I'll tell you what, my packaging is too hard to get into.
They'll go find gummies or things, or they'll say like really nice. They're like, Mom, do you think like maybe you like we find you some cannabis? Would that be something that like they like will like walk into a room when I'm like ragey and be like,
that's funny.
And you know what? What's sad is like I always have a minute where I'm like, fuck, give that to me. Just yes. You're right.
Jobo has the best point.
Jobo says the real nerds never took them out of the packaging.
It's true.
Oh my God.
Oh, I love him.
Oh God.
Celia, you were talking about the whole. One of our guys, Mixon was going to tell us he's going to help me set up my kid's computer. Because here's the other thing, the photos, like. You know, listen, I don't have any crazy photos, but there's a few photos I'd rather my kids didn't see, but they could get to them on the iPad.
Well, you could put them into the hidden folder and then you put a password on it. Not that
I have a folder called Taxes 2017.
Yeah, but that's a physical folder, and I got to tell you, when one of your kids wants to be an accountant, you're screwed.
Yeah,
you're gonna be like, "Oh, great!
You review my children." There's zero chance of that happening.
Or an IT nerd.
Jace could.
Not true, Jace.
Dad, I was just going through your old file, taxes 2006, and there's some stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yes, there's things that are filed under T for twat that I wasn't expecting. For taxes. Oh my God, you guys, the Dodgers are shitting the bed all of a sudden. I'm sorry, I have.
The All-Star game's not even happened yet. For the love of God, we're still in basketball.
White Sox. I'm in Chicago right now. So
Well, the White Sox all of a sudden pulled ahead 4-0, and fuck that. That's terrible. And the Dodgers just lost to the Mets twice in a row. And I'm a Mets fan, and even I was like, "Ooh, Dodgers." That's
yeah.
So, my kids have another week of school. Is everyone else out of school?
We've been out of school since Memorial Day.
I got a week.
We still have a few days left.
Actually, I'm sorry. We've been out of school since we got COVID 2 weeks before school.
Right. Yeah, there is that for you.
My kids' class, a third of them went first grade. A third of them went down in the last 3 days with COVID.
I was going to say you should have said.
So I'm sitting here waiting for my daughter to pop. And
you guys already had Omicron. Didn't you have it in January?
We all had it in December, and they got vaccinated in December. But it's been 6 months. I actually got it 8 weeks ago because I told everyone. I think I told everybody. I was like, June, July, it's all coming back. Of course, it's on a 6-month schedule. You just got to look at your calendar. And so I boosted 8 weeks out. So I mean, hopefully, I'll be fine. But
I'm gonna try and get boosted before we go to the city. Jody has COVID right now. Her daughter came back from a trip and she got COVID. And yeah, I'm getting my little one's getting boosted on Saturday night. And honestly, like once I'm there, I'm going to be like, just give it to me. I have asthma, which I do have asthma. I'm like, give it to me. I have asthma. Fuck this. Like, come on. This shit is crazy. So Kate,
you survive.
We have a cold and we're not missing school. Like it wasn't ever the sickness that bothered me. It was so last year I quarantined 35 days out of 365 days last year. I quarantined. I had it twice within the year, and then I had another thing where I worked with a girl who tested positive, so they quarantined me in a hotel so I didn't come home to my family. And then
sounds like the best week of your life. No,
I mean, right?
No, it was.
No, he was not happy during that time. I will attest to that.
I had shot something in Detroit, and then I came back, and on the flight back, they texted me and said, "Hey, the other girl just tested positive," and I quarantined in a hotel for like 6 days.
Are you a cannabis user, Jamie?
We don't talk about that in the parents' lounge. Listen,
lying.
Here's what I'll tell you. I'm a comic, and there's a running joke that says 90% of all comics get high. The other 10%, not funny. Have you ever heard that? That's
That's awesome. Because
I was a Navy lieutenant, so I got piss tested when I was in. So I never used any of those products before I was in my 30s, probably.
Stephanie Hansen's a teacher, by the way.
Also, I probably would have been better off had I used that more than the amount of alcohol I drank when I was in the middle.
Well, there's a few studies that have shown that that will show that cannabis is protecting from getting COVID.
Well,
and
I guess we know.
I agree with that.
I swear to fucking God. I mean, I still think I'm going to get it in the next 2 weeks, but I swear to fucking God, if there's a reason I haven't gotten it as like a small, Jew that is like susceptible to fucking everything, it's cannabis. It's the amount I consume. I just honestly, I cut the top of this open and like, Jason, I sent some of this to. I mean, I didn't because that'd be illegal. But maybe
hypothetically, an angel, something like that may have arrived at my home. Yeah,
Jason could have gotten some hypothetically. I'll usually I'll make like a parfait. I just cut the top of this open, and I've just been doing this all day.
Wait, what is that though, Celia? I've never. Is that?
It's cannabis infused granola. It's
granola. Oh,
dude,
how nice!
It takes the McDonald's parfait to a new level.
Yes,
so good.
Which, by the way, available on the rewards app, Kate.
Listen, sometimes you can get it for free. It all depends.
I do believe. I honestly, I don't know any giant stoners who've gotten it.
No, neither do I. I know some that got it before they got vaccinated, and that's about it. Yeah. And other than that, same here. Like, I really don't know. Well, I guess I know one. I know one person, but that's it.
People in my school who are losing their mind, they're like, why are we testing? Stop testing anybody. Stop.
Hey, did your whole family get it?
Yeah, so my son brought it home from preschool before we knew. And then by the time he popped a positive, I was like, all right, it's just me and him now. I'm quarantining with him. I sent my husband and my son to the other part of the house. I mean, the three of us that had it gotten it all tested positive the same day. I'm like, okay, he got it on Friday and we got it from him on Monday. And then he tested positive on Tuesday. So we didn't need to quarantine.
Pull your shit aside. Were you like, what the hell's wrong with you? You fucking little asshole.
Can I tell you, this is the thing that like really gets me is that, and I know everybody has varying opinions on this, but like, preschool, like 100% of the school's population could not be vaccinated.
I know.
So they should never have lifted the mask mandate.
I agree. I know.
And they did. And my kid was masked. But when everyone else is unmasked, it doesn't fucking matter because it's
especially in preschool because they're like licking shit.
And also,
they literally like Jace would get at kindergarten would come home and his mask would look like he had just like wrung it around in a toilet. And
the boys like they'll chew on it too. I mean, so it was just we had no warning it had come in. We're like, we got it from the Dodgers game. We had gone to like a little league game on Sunday. And we're like, how did we get it outside at the Dodgers game? And then it was like, no, just the baby had it, just the 4-year-old had it. And then the whole rest of the next 2 weeks, they kept shutting down his room at preschool because kids kept having it. And then they all were asymptomatic. So I was like, yeah, somebody definitely had it asymptomatically and passed it.
Yeah.
I got it. I've had it 3 times. I'm just about it. The first I had it before anybody knew what it was. And that was the one that I was like at 4 a.m. I almost went to the hospital. I was like, I have something I've never had before. Then I had it again in January, got fired from American Housewife, which I haven't talked about too much, but I'm so angry about it. Oh, and my reward was I got to homeschool 2 kids for the entire time I was pretty sick. But like nothing, I don't think I would have missed a day of work. I had, that's sick. It is what it is. But
I was sick, bro.
Were you?
Me out.
But let me ask you, have you had a killer flu or a sinus infection where you were destroyed?
For 3 days only. This was not as bad as the worst flu I've ever had, but it lasted for 10 fucking days.
Yeah, it's a heavyweight. Yeah. I've had sinus infections. I've had flus that lasted a long time. We all have, I think.
I will say Delta bitch slapped me 10 times from Tuesday.
Yeah, Jason actually Jason got hospitalized.
Right. We know COVID discriminates against fat people. We know that. and so it attacked me personally. I felt victimized by it.
I wanted to take my eyeballs out of my head to see if it would relieve the pressure that I was feeling.
Yeah, like 10 days in, I was pretty not okay. And then they sent me for the monoclonal antibodies. And like literally that day I felt better after I got it.
Yeah, you said it was like within an hour of getting them.
it was like an hour. I felt infinitely better.
Yeah.
Really? All right.
Here's my other question, and I don't want to, but we have a friend they basically quarantined themselves for 2 years, right? And they have 2 little kids or whatever. And my question is, are they hurting that child's immune system because they're not around other kids? Like, you're supposed to do other stuff and build your immunity up.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know what the answers are, but I'm just about at my fucking wit's end.
Yeah, they're hurting their immune system, but also they're hurting their mental health. Yeah, I've got friends that do that with one daughter. The dad was the one that was like, you know, just locked it down, and the mom was like, at some point was like, okay, but seriously. And I understand being worried about long-term COVID. It's not a joke. And I certainly don't want anything to happen to my children unless it's by my hands. Then maybe. Fuck you, COVID. If you're going to take one of my kids out, I'll take one of my kids out. Thank you very fucking much. Take that away from me. But yeah, I think that what it's done to like to their daughter's mental health. And I finally did say something, and to her mental health, to my friend's mental health. Like, I was like, this is not living. Life is so fucking short, and there's 1,000 other ways that you can die, get sick. I mean, listen, my sister was fucking 42 when she died of colon cancer, which isn't in our family, and nobody tested genetically for it after. Like, this is not you know, car accidents, all kinds of shit. I'm not saying run out and have like a COVID party. That's dumb. But things take you, like, life is short enough. Fuck, I don't want to spend the rest of my life trapped in my house trying to avoid dying, so that then when the world blows up, I'm like, you know, a lyric in an Alanis Morissette fucking song. It was slightly ironic, but actually pathetic, you know.
I like Alanis Morissette very much.
I loved that documentary. Did you guys see that documentary?
So good.
Ooh, it's called Alanis.
Somebody who like hired her nanny after she was her nanny, and the nanny was like, she's insane, and I was like, damn it. I mean, of course.
Alanis is insane. Hey, can I tell you? Listen, if you watch the doc, by the way, her parents, she was like 14, and they were like, yeah, going on a world tour shouldn't be a problem, and she was gone with like, I mean, she was
20-year-old boys.
It's horrible.
No, and she was taken wildly advantage of by Glenn Ballard. Everybody knows that. Yeah.
By who?
I honestly think that's why that album.
Glenn Ballard.
I this whole time thought it was fucking Dave Coulier.
Well, it was.
The song is about Dave Coulier,
that
right?
song's about Dave Coulier.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know for sure, but I would think yes.
I'm like, I wish there was somebody here who could answer definitively. But oh well, there's nobody that runs in those circles.
I'm just guessing. I'm not sure. No, Glenn Ballard wrote he produced 2 of the albums and wrote the first album with her. And if you ever want to understand their relationship, it's the song it's like on the 3rd album, and she has this whole song. It's all about him. Hands Clean. It's called Hands Clean.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's all about Glenn Ballard. That I know for sure.
If I had listened,
I do an amazing Alanis Morissette impression. So next time,
please show us.
No, but
next time
karaoke, I will 100% sing it. It's.
Oh, you mean singing wise?
Oh, I will. I can sing this. You'll think it's.
Bitch, I'm gonna pull up the karaoke track for you right now, honey.
We gotta. We'll probably get busted on YouTube.
Okay, well then I won't. But
it's only Jamie's count that gets nailed, so don't worry.
Yeah,
he's great.
I mean, I'm just saying. I could give you a video, but
You know how great she is. She got Ryan Reynolds for a long time, so that shows you how cool she is as a lady.
Yeah,
I'm a fan. I met her once. I thought she was lovely. I really liked meeting her, and she was great.
It's a crazy life, you know. We sit and we look at all these celebrities, like, you know, whether it's Will Smith or something, and you can't. They have no concept of life. These people have been like stars and traveling the world since they were like 13 years old. They have no concept of the life that we all lead. So it's so funny when we meet them and we're like, they seem pretty cool. They have no concept. One time I met Kobe Bryant and I was like, yeah, it's nice to meet you. And he goes, I know. And I was like, I'm sorry, what did you say? And he didn't mean it in a dick way. He was like, I know. And he was kind of right. He was
Yeah.
it was
Right.
for me to meet him.
Wait, I don't think that's always true because, like, I'll use my best friend as an example. Like, she's had a fucking life.
Sure.
Like, it's not, I mean, she's been on screen since she was 5 or whatever, 4, I think she said to me the other day. And I was like, what? But she's had a life and she's owned it and she's, you know, really lived and she's fucked up and she's hurt people and she's hurt herself and she's like come back around. She did not, the life that people think she has and lived is not what people think. If you ever read any of the comments on Jodi's wall and they're like, oh, okay, whatever, millionaire, doing this, that, and the other thing, must be nice living in Beverly Hills. She does not live in Beverly Hills. And as she always posts, she doesn't own her house. Like, this is not, you know, she's a single mom. The fact that now she's found the love of her life and they're getting married soon, and I'm so fucking excited. Like, she deserves that because she did not have a fairy tale life. She was, you know, and she was adopted and, you know, abandoned when she was little. Like, it's there, you know, all of what she writes about in her book. Like, it's a big fucking deal. So I think that's a little, you know, I think it's hard because, like, you never know until you meet a celebrity. And there's some celebrities that I've met that I'm like, oh, I'm so excited to meet this person. And then I walk away and I'm like, that person's an asshole.
Well, that's they don't never meet your heroes, but it's a very slanted profession, I feel like. And
I met Stephen King once, though, and I will say that was probably the most like giddy I've ever been. My stepdad is a musician, and there's a writers band. They're called the Rock Bottom Remainders.
Yeah. He played. Yeah.
And so Stephen King plays with that with Matt Groening. And they were playing at the Bottom Line in Manhattan, and they asked my dad to step in with them, to sit in with them, him and Al Cooper, who used to play for Bob Dylan. My stepdad played bass for Bob Dylan and the Doors and Miles Davis and shit. So he's like music famous, like musical guy famous. But if you're not a musician, you don't know who the fuck he is. So he found out Stephen King was going to be there, and I'd been such a big fan. He was like, why don't you come down from, you know, Ithaca and come see the show? And so I did with my friend, and we drove all the way there. And he like took us in back to like sit us in the trailer before the show. And there was like a delivery guy there. And he kind of, you know, I walked by the delivery guy and said hi to him. My stepdad just starts laughing. And I'm like, what? And he's like, points at him. Yeah, the 6'9" delivery guy was fucking Stephen King. Just standing there. And I was like,
he was like, you want to meet my dog, Cujo? And you're like, oh,
I was
shit.
so like, I didn't know what to do with myself. And he came and sat down with me and my friend and like started talking to us. And I was like, I couldn't talk to him. And he was like, I'm just a dad. He was like, your dad's like way cooler than I am. Like, look, he's done this, that, and the other thing. I'm a dad. Doesn't matter. And I was like, what? Like, I couldn't talk. It was probably the most starstruck I've ever been in my life.
It's so crazy. I'm a huge fan, but I don't know if I'd be starstruck by him.
God,
I've yet to be starstruck ever. Have you ever been starstruck, Jamie?
Yeah, Kate, have you? I have.
Oh my God. I'll tell you, it's not who you would think. I gotta tell you, it's whoever was your hero as a child.
Yeah.
Like for me, and it was just seeing Michael Jordan in the theater here. To me, he was, I don't care what anybody says about him. I don't care. Like, he's the one person I'm like, yeah, I know he cheated on Juanita, but also it's Michael fucking Jordan.
Yeah, but he was the fucking Bulls with Scottie Pippen and
that's my childhood. Like, I watched all of those three-peats. So seeing him in a theater in Highland Park, Illinois, at the theater I worked at, the Children's Theater, to see his daughter Jasmine at the time be very bad in a play, and seeing him, he stood up and he did what I call the black man hobble, where it's like they're sexy getting up. They like sort of like hobble. And then he because his knees, he was so tall, and he's not even that tall for a basketball player. His knees in the theater seats were above his waist. You know what I mean? It was like they were, because his legs were just so fucking long. And
he was in traction the whole time.
I had zero chill about it. I was like, oh my God. I mean, I didn't meet him, but I was just in the same space as him. But anybody I've met ever since, like, there's nobody that I've been fazed by as an adult.
I sat next to Mel Brooks at a movie screening.
Oh, wow. Sorry.
Oh my God.
So wait, that's a big one.
I was wearing I run this support group called the Little Mamas with my girlfriend Allie, and we have these shirts and they say #mama on them. And I was wearing it at this event that I sat next to him. And when I left, he was like right there, and he turns around, he looks at me and he goes, Pound Mama. What is that? And I go, oh, it's a sex cult for moms. Like, you've never heard of it? And he like just looked at me. His eyes got huge, and then he just starts hysterically laughing.
Oh, that's it.
That's awesome.
And I was like,
That's it. You made Mel Brooks laugh?
The problem is, you'd meet Mel Brooks and be like, "Oh God, I want to be his friend." Other people you just want to meet, but with him, you're like, "I wish we could just hang out."
Yeah.
Jimmy Nails met Gillian Anderson. I think she's fantastic.
She is fantastic.
Did you guys watch Sex Education?
She's so talented. It's crazy.
It is, Celia, it is the hottest show I've ever seen.
wait, more than Outlander? Because Outlander's like,
No, I'm telling you, Gillian Anderson, like the way I feel about her in the show, the way I feel about everybody in the show, the way I feel about the teenagers having sex in the show. It is like,
Whoa, Mulligan, tread the line.
no, guys, you guys, that's how I got my foray into pedophilia. It was that.
All right. All right.
All right, and we haven't had to use it for a while, but there we go.
I didn't realize it was like
It's so good. It's some of the best performances ever.
I have one.
Outlander.
I have one. So one of my very first jobs, I booked Will and Grace, and the guy who played my boss.
What's messing so much? Wait, who?
Gene Wilder played my boss on the show.
Shut up!
It was one of my I'd only done a few. I'd done a Friends. I'd done like maybe a King and Queen, something else I forget, and then I booked this recurring part on Will and Grace, and the first boss, I work in Will's law firm, and the boss is Gene Wilder.
I remember all those.
Oh my gosh! And so I show up, and I'm rehearsing the scene, and Jim Burrows from Cheers is directing, and I mean the cast is just they were so talented. They were like lightning in a bottle, like it was just magic. And then Gene Wilder, and I'm a huge Gene Wilder fan. And I go to do the scene with him, and he stands next to me and he talks to me. And in the back of my head, I don't even speak. I'm like, that's fucking Gene Wilder. Like I was awesome.
Yeah. I would have.
The whole time I'm like, I'm gonna get fired. So I had to go back to my dressing room. I'm like talking to myself in the mirror, going, you kind of have to go that fuck Gene Wilder. He's just an actor.
He's just a dude.
And I'm talking to myself in my dressing room, trying to convince myself I'm good. I'm good enough to be here with Gene Wilder, and I'm doing the scene with him. But the whole time I'm like,
so you're turning into Jimmy Durante for part of it?
Yeah.
Melting down. And so the whole week was like, it was me like talking to myself in a mirror in my dressing room, going, he's just a person. He's just an actor.
It's not Willy Wonka. He's not Willy Wonka.
Who was it, Jamie, that was doing like acting exercises in the next dressing room over?
Well,
And you thought they were screaming?
I work in Will's law firm. And for some reason, they had this running gag that every time they go to Will's law firm, he has a different boss. So the first one is Gene Wilder.
Gregory Hines.
Is Jeff Goldblum. The next one I shoot is Lily Tomlin.
And Gregory Hines. It's
Harry Connick and Minnie Driver are in it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I
was on an episode of Will and Grace as well. And Debbie and I used to have the same manager. And it was the one in Central Park. And so I was with Katie Couric all day, who, by the way, is like the nicest fucking person.
I believe that.
She's the nicest fucking person. She kept they kept putting red lipstick on, and then she would talk to me, and then right before they would, shoot, she would like look at me and be like, "Do I have lipstick on my teeth?" Like, she was so sweet. And Harry was on set, and so we were all in Central Park. It was the wedding episode, and so was Jill Goodacre, who, if you ever want to like feel really fucking ugly, stand next to Jill Goodacre for 20 minutes, and then you're like, "Can I have a bag? Can I just put a bag over my head because this is bullshit?" And I was in a wedding dress, and it was my sister's wedding dress that I was in, and it started raining at one point, so the bottom got all muddy, and Harry Connick was in front of me because he was in the scene with me, and Jill was there and his kids, and one of the kids turned around and she was like, "Your dress is," there was like three daughters. One of them turned around, she's like, "Your dress is all muddy at the bottom." I go, "I know, I don't care because it's my sister's." And Harry just turns around, looks at me, and he goes, "Nice," and like points at the other ones, and I was like, "Sorry," and he was like, "I'm just kidding."
He was funny. He was funny.
He was very sweet. And Debbie and I were standing next to each other at one point, and we're both like kind of checking each other out. I don't really even know why. I guess because Jews, that's what we do. And I'm just sort of like standing, and I kind of look at her, and she comes, looks at me, and she just edges up next to me, and she goes, "You want to have a rib off?" Because we have these like gigantic rib cages and no boobs, her and I. And I'm like, "Yeah." And the crew is like taking pictures of us because we were both just like doing this, like
Oh,
ripped out. And there's a picture of us somewhere where I have my hand on her boob and she has her hand on my boob.
it's so funny. Jason and I, when we were at Disneyland, had a rib off, but it was different. It was to see who could eat a full rack of ribs.
Next time
without taking a sip of beer.
I know who I'm betting on. Mulligan.
Yeah.
Did you win? Did you win?
She did not.
I did not.
She outdrank me though because I ordered 2 honey straws and almost died.
That's a long story, folks. I will tell you guys, this is very big for me. And then somebody today on the other show I do taught me what it's called, but I'm having a sober summer.
Good for you.
But then somebody told me that I'm doing a California sober summer.
Oh, I was like, you're not having sex? Because
well, I am at my parents' house. It's not as much fun, but no.
You already act like your sex is like going to a dentist appointment. It's not fun for you.
Listen, we schedule it. It's fine. I show up.
Again, the dentist appointment.
So I get sober. I vow sobriety.
Yeah.
Pretty much every morning. Every morning, I'm like, that's it. You know what? I'm going to lose a couple pounds. I'm going to get in shape. And then about 5 o'clock, my wife tells me I have to cook the Blue Apron dish that showed up.
Yeah.
A lot of chopping. And I'm like, well, I can't do this without a Negroni. And then, so I falter. I stumble. I stumble into the evening is what we should say. And then the next morning, I start the whole process again.
It's funny, Jamie. The reason I did it was because of COVID. I actually naturally stopped drinking for 10 straight days, which this is the saddest part. That I haven't that was the longest I've gone without alcohol for over 2 years. 10 days was the longest I'd gone. And I was like, it's probably a good time to break up.
I did the same last year when I got sick. So I did the same exact thing. So I got COVID twice last year, and each time I got super sober. And then by the time I came out of COVID, I was like, oh, I'm in shape and I'm ripped. And then all of a sudden, we were like, well, here we go. And got right back on. You'll get back to the swing set. It's okay. You'll go back and forth.
I know. My goal is just to make it while I'm here. But even tonight we went to, we're in this like charming village, right? Like this suburban, and like there's a Tuesday night free concert. It's like live music and food trucks. And we go, and there's like you get like a bracelet to go get beer. And I was like, ooh, I might falter. Because like what's better than outdoor music and like a giant cold? And I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
Beer, I'd say, but
yeah, I was like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
How was the experience sober?
Fine.
Boring. Super boring.
No,
Why
it was
does not sell me.
Fine, but I know tonight I'm going to have a gummy and have a party. So that's fine.
All right. As long as
I'm excited to go to New York and be drunk the whole time because I don't have to fucking drive anywhere.
Yeah, that's the other thing. That is the other thing.
Super excited about it. I really am. Like, I'm like, yes, that's what I want to do. I really do. Oh, wait. I thought I have to go back to the celebrities that we met, like, didn't disappoint. I met Alan Alda. That is actually when I was starstruck in my life.
I'm happy to hear that.
Let me just say this. I made the biggest fool of myself. And he was still so great. I used to work for Showtime Networks back when it was shitty. Really shitty. Like
good now. Sometimes really good now.
Like when they didn't have the porn budget.
Dude, all we had was the porn budget. All I did was like edit shitty Marlee Matlin movies, and she's a great actress. So like, what the fuck? Like it was so bad. We had the L word. In its first incantation, we had Queer as Folk, which we got death threats for, which I wanted to like write back to all of them and be like, I'm sorry, have you watched the show? There is no need to death threat us. Like this is a bad idea. We're fine.
I love the death threat. It's just, how about this? Don't watch it.
Don't watch it. Fuck you. Like just cancel the subscription. It doesn't matter. We had Resurrection Boulevard and Soul Food. It was so fucking bad. Anyway, Alan had come into, I didn't know he was there. But Alan had come in he did a bunch of things with Showtime. He pitched something, and I don't know. They were doing some video of him talking about something that was going to air. And I'm in my cubicle, and I didn't know where in the office he was. I didn't even know he was there. All I knew is at some point, somebody just opened up the door and said, can someone please get Mr. Alda a Diet Coke? And I jumped onto the desk of my cubicle, so I was above the cubicle, and I went, I I got it. I will do it. Like I screamed it.
And then you hear from the other room, he's like, I don't actually want that person to bring
it
it
so
to
much
me.
worse, Kate. I didn't know where he was. And I jump off my desk and I just go running down the hall going, I got it. And I like go into our break room where we have free, like, you know, soda stuff or whatever. And I'm like, I get there and I stand there like a deer caught in headlights because I'm like, I don't know if he wants ice. Oh. So then I'm like, I'm brilliant. I'm going to get a cup of Diet Coke and I'm going to get a cup of ice. And then I like power walk back as only a New Yorker can, you know, not spilling it all. And I walk in the door. They're like, he's in there. I walk in the door. He is facing my fucking cubicle. He has seen me jump onto my cubicle to be like, I will. And I ran by that going, I got it, like a dick. So as soon as I walk in, I'm just like, shit, I don't know what to do. And I hold out both cups. I go, here, Mr. Alda, here's your Diet Coke. And he goes to take it and I just kind of pull it back and I'm like, no, but I got you ice too. But I didn't put the ice in the Diet Coke because I didn't know if you wanted it that way. And I wasn't sure how much ice you would want. So you can like put the ice in the Diet Coke now, or actually that will splash. Don't do that. Just put the Diet Coke, pour it into the ice. That's probably how and the whole time, poor Alan's like trying to like get them from me. And then finally I just like stopped talking mid-sentence. Like I'm like, and anyway, if you want to here. And like I just hand them to him and he's like, okay. And I just walk back out and I close the door and my entire office like busts out fucking laughing. And then I get into the elevator like 20 minutes later. And of course, in walks Alan Alda and one of my bosses who is like looking at me like I'm a fucking dumbass. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. I got it. And then all of a sudden my boss just turns to him and he goes, so what's your next project? Are you doing anything now? And I'm like, so I just turn and I'm like, you're doing a Broadway show at Lincoln Center, right? EQ3, is that what you're doing right now? Right? And he's like, yes, it is. And he starts talking to me and I'm like, can't talk. Like, I don't remember if I said anything. And then he's like, oh, talk to Howard at the, you know, when you leave today and like, he'll get you tickets. Come see the show on me, come backstage, come see me. And I'm like, okay. Did I follow through with that? No.
Yes.
Why did you follow through?
Because I'm a dick.
I always people go, hey, you can come. I'm gonna do it. Don't offer because I'm gonna do it.
I felt like he just felt bad for the idiot girl that had been like, I got it. Ran by.
I love his that quote. He goes, if it bends, it's funny. If it breaks, not funny. Do you know that movie?
I do. Wow. And yes, and wait,
Alan Alda. It's a Woody Allen movie. I want to say Hannah and Her Sisters.
Yes. Oh,
sisters. And he's the dick. He's the dick TV producer in New York, and he keeps trying to explain comedy to everybody. He goes, "If it bends,
it's not Hannah and Her Sisters."
It's not Hannah and Her Sisters.
It's not Hannah and Her Sisters.
Manhattan
Murder Mysteries, right?
No, Manhattan.
I don't know.
Woody Allen movie.
I hate Woody Allen.
Only we had a way to search this. Oh well.
Let's not go down Woody Allen.
Google's work.
I'm going to go see a Broadway show when I'm in New York.
Oh, what are you seeing?
6. I'm taking my kids to see 6.
Oh, nice. I heard it's great.
I hear it's amazing. And because I was a fucking dorky theater major, I can always get tickets to things because I almost always know somebody that either works on the show or is in the show, which is awesome.
That's great.
So,
I'm getting really sick of them taking like movies from the 80s, like Tootsie and Pretty Woman, and
they've been doing that forever. Footloose. I mean, they've been doing it forever.
At least Footloose was a musical. Tootsie, I don't remember a lot of music in it. And they're like, hey, what if we made Tootsie into a Broadway musical?
Tootsie is like, honest to God, one of my favorite movies in the world.
It's one.
I love the movie.
It's one of the top 3 comedies of all time, I would argue.
I will turn to my kids every so often out of nowhere and go, because I'm a woman. And as a woman, I'm a woman. As a woman,
it's funny because I always quote when he walks into the restaurant and Sidney Pollack is at the table, and he comes in, he goes, "I begged you to get help, Michael. I begged you to get help." That's like one of my favorite lines.
I like when his voice just keeps dropping.
I begged you
in that scene where he's like, "It's me."
A tomato would not sit down. Don't you see?
Carl Stern. I'm sorry, but Carl Stern is
I
like.
played a tomato and I was a rich, thick tomato. I was a juicy tomato. A tomato would never sit down. Don't you see? I fucking love that.
It's like
One of the greatest films ever.
Such a good movie.
Yeah.
Wait, so 6 is about Henry VIII's wives. 6 wives.
Does it end poorly for Anne?
You know, I think it ends poorly for most of them. I think
All of them. None of them gave him a boy.
Crimes and misdemeanors. Oh, dude, it is crimes and misdemeanors.
Oh, crimes and misdemeanors. Yes, it is.
This is why we can count on not Saul.
See, and I said something about murder.
Is he currently
By
at
the
your
way,
home?
Yeah.
I fucking hate Woody Allen. I hope
Martin Landau. He kills. I don't want. I guess
Ask
I can
Saul.
reckon. It's from the 80s or 90s.
Or ask not Saul. Excuse me. Ask not Saul.
Here's the beauty of crimes and misdemeanors. He gets away with it. The end. He totally gets away with it.
Yeah, Woody Allen. By the way, Woody Allen gets away with it.
You see it? Do you see how the correlation? He gets
Just
away
say-
with crimes and misdemeanor. Martin Landau does a horrific act, and he gets away with it. And
Yeah.
but that's how you go. Oh, that is life. That is life for people who are well off. Yeah, it actually makes total sense. It makes sense.
This tracks. This tracks.
Dodgers just completely lost.
Oh, Celia, for the love of God.
I'm sorry.
Our break hasn't even happened yet. We just stop it. We're still in basketball.
Go
The
Sox,
Dodgers-
baby. Go Sox.
50
But
years from
you
now,
lost
no
to
one
the
has-
Mets and then you just lost to the Sox.
Okay.
No.
You don't forget the White Sox won the World
wanna hear-
Series in 2005.
Here's another. I got another starstruck for you. I just remembered that I shot a TV show with James Caan.
Oh yes, I love that.
I told you that story, didn't I? Yeah.
It's
love
yeah.
We all got to set, but apparently Jimmy wasn't sure. He didn't understand that he was shooting a TV show. He thought was shooting a movie where they just shoot like half a page
Stop.
in a day because we were all on set for like 90 minutes.
While
And
he
then-
learned his lines.
Jimmy showed up and he's like, "Hey, what are we doing here? What's happening? What's happening over here? What's happening over here? Let's get this thing. And he's great. I loved it. He was the best. And at the end, I made him take a picture where his fist is like this. And so I have a picture with James Caan like punching me in the face.
Listen, picture it didn't happen.
What?
Show us the picture or it didn't happen.
The scene he shot with James Caan is hysterical.
It's pretty funny.
super
Oh, that's right. Here's the scene. It was a buddy of mine, Rob Cullen and Mark Cullen's show. They're great. They made Lucky with John Corbett, a bunch of TV shows, Heist.
Yeah.
Really great guys. And so they brought me in, and the gag is James Caan comes down, and he's so pissed at me, he smashes up my car and smashes all the windows, and I walk out. And he's like, "That's for you. That's a lesson for you." Like just like Sonny Corleone. And then I go, what the fuck are you doing? Who are you? And he's like, he says something about my address, and it's like 12856 or something. I go, "This is 12854, dipshit. It's next door." He goes, "Oh, sorry about that." And he walks away with his bat. It's really funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
I was Robert Redford's assistant for a little while.
What? Shut up!
I was.
He's
I get to call him Bob. I was Bob's assistant for a while.
I was watching Spy Game for a few minutes the other day. The Sting is not the comedy, but one of the best scripts and movies, hands down, ever made.
I mean,
He's like honestly the nicest human.
he's also like the generation before us. That's their Brad Pitt. Like that's the hottest dude on the planet.
Brad Pitt.
The natural. Oh, honey.
Brad Pitt
The
is,
natural.
that's why
You
Spy
sing
Game
that
is
and I
so
hear it
good.
in my
It's
head.
two of them. It's Brad Pitt and Redford back together again. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I love
Yeah,
Rob. Bob is like fucking awesome. I met Paul Paul Newman lived in my town for a million years, so I actually met him at a grocery store once. Like he let me check out ahead of him. Yeah,
I bought his salad dressing in a
Was he
grocery
pushing
store
the
once.
salad dressing, Kate?
yeah.
Right,
I grew
there
up,
it
but
is.
I grew up in Westport, Connecticut, and that's where he and Joanne lived. And so he like let me cut in a grocery store before I met Bob. And when I worked at Showtime, before I went to Showtime, I was at Sundance, and Bob would come in like every couple weeks, month, whatever it was, and I was a temp And he came in one night and after hours and they asked me to stay. And I was like, all right. And they were like, you got to get somebody off the elevator. And I was like, okay. And of course, like the elevator room, I was like, that's Robert Redford. That's funny. And like, I walked him in the door and whatever reason, like we had like good banter and he liked me. And so when he would come to Sundance, he would be like, can you get that temp Celia to come in? And then I was working for Sundance. And whenever he'd come in, he would basically be like, Celia's mine when I'm in the office. And I just love, I mean, we had such a fun relationship. I really loved him. I still do love him a lot. He's great. And he's retired now. I think he's actually in Montana. He was in LA kind of recently, but at one point we had a meeting, a staff meeting. And he was like, I was supposed to take him because he wasn't in the office that often. He never knew where the offices were, like, you know, conference rooms or whatever. So they were like, wait for Bob, take him to the meeting in like 10 minutes. I was like, all right. So I go and I knock on his door and he's like, all right. He's like, I'm going to go to the bathroom and then I'll go to the meeting. And I was like, okay. He went to the bathroom and I go to the meeting and they're like, no, he won't know where to go. Like, you got to go back and wait for him. And let me just say, it was taking a long time.
Oh,
cool. Bob's taking a shit right now. And this is like probably going to be my claim to fame that I like waited for Robert Redford to get out of the bathroom so I could take him to a fucking meeting in the Sundance Channel. And I walk out, he walks out of the bathroom finally, he looks at me and he's like, you're still here. And I was like, well, they wanted me to wait for you. And he's like, oh, they didn't want me to get lost. And I just went, well, man, you are old. And he it just popped out. Like, I don't know why I thought I could fucking say that in my 20s to Robert Redford, but he just thought it was like the funniest thing. And he was like, yeah, I am old. And I was like, holy shit. And then literally
from the thing with celebrities in bathrooms.
I do. I don't know. Anyway, he was like, thought it was really funny.
I also feel like that just shows that you're not afraid of him. And I feel like everybody was probably like, oh, yes, of course, Mr. Redford. Of course. Yes. Follow me. And there's probably like some element of him that was like, oh, this bitch treats me like a human. I love it. Like,
I would walk in and give him shit. Like when things would be faxed to him, I would stick my headshot in it and like give him a folder of like a fax and my headshot in it. And like he would take the fax, whatever. And like 3 hours would go by and then he'd buzz me and be like, can you come in and fax something back from me? I'm like, yeah. And I'd come and get the folder and the fax would be in there with my headshot back in it.
Can I give a little shout out to Joey Steelers who says this show really helps to relax me? That's exactly what
you're drunk too.
I already feel like panic pulling off my chest already. Yeah. Like I was really like wanted to put my fist through a wall when the show started, and I actually feel a lot better.
I mean, I have a celebrity story. Kate, I think you know this one. I was at a paranormal television convention in Clearwater, Florida.
Oh yeah,
because that's
they had a lot of different what?
Because that's where all the ghosts go.
Yeah.
Well, it was at the Biltmore Hotel, which is rumored to be like haunted.
All right. And Jesus.
So they had like this big thing where they brought in all the people from like horror movies and paranormal television. And Linda Blair was there. Wow. And so I had just come back from lunch like an hour before, and I was going back to our room. She got in the elevator with us. And I felt my stomach start to cramp. And I'm like, oh no, this is not the time for you to pass gas. And I did. And it was very loud. And it was very loud. And I said nothing. I just kept staring straight ahead. She's standing there and it smells like death. I mean, it was bad. I mean, it was just bad. It's bad in every way. And all of a sudden, we got to the 6th, we were on the 8th floor and we got to the 6th floor and everybody cleared out. And I realized that there was a floor in between that somebody had hit 7. And I'm pretty sure it was Linda Blair had hit the 7th. She was on the 7th floor, but didn't want to be in there with me anymore. So she walked the last floor.
Wow.
And
that's actually the most impressive celebrity sighting story we've had tonight.
That's a pretty good one.
Right?
If you make the woman who threw up pea soup in The Exorcist get out of an elevator early, I feel like I've done my job.
Yeah.
She was one of the first people I ever saw in Los Angeles when I moved here. I went to Casa Vega or something. It's a bar here, kind of a famous
You're
bar.
So lucky. I saw Flea first.
You know who my first famous person I saw? Kaylee Cuoco almost hit me with her car.
Oh,
that actually tracks.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I lied to you. It wasn't Flea. It was Kato Kalin went to Good Shepherd Church in Beverly Hills, and that was the first person I saw.
I remember seeing him when he was doing stand-up. Stand-up back in the, right after the trial.
Is everyone watching Obi-Wan Kenobi? Because Flea makes the whole appearance.
No, he doesn't. Does he
Never
really?
watched it yet.
Yeah. The first episode, maybe in the first 2 episodes season.
Wait, Mulligan, you're not watching it?
No, I got to catch up on. I have to watch things chronologically.
I don't love it so far. And I'll tell you, here's my take on it. Flea's in it, which is fine. And also he's in the Wild Thornberries. If you don't know that, because you guys are parents, do you know that? Do you guys watch the Wild Thornberries?
No.
Yes.
That's a cartoon?
No.
Yes.
No.
First of all, the Wild Thornberries is one of the very few cartoons that parents should watch, and it's like you'll like it. Like you'll like Lacey.
Got a lot of adult humor.
Yeah, it's really good. Lacey Chabert is one of the characters. Flea is in it. Jeff Goldblum. No, not Jeff Goldblum.
No,
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry. There you go.
He's the dad. Like, it's so good, and it's actually kind of educational. It's really fun. But Flea's in it, and Flea has no lines, which is the best part about it. But here's my problem with Obi. First of all, like for all the nerds out there, I can't be invested because they're like, it's all like his relationships moving forward and fine. There's like a young Leia but Darth Vader's in it, blah, blah, blah. Listen, if we didn't know what happened prior and we didn't know what happened after, maybe I'd feel some sort of like issue, but like you can't, it's not like, it's not a bad show. I'm just saying it's not, thank you, Jimmy. It's not.
I think he's saying this show. I think yeah.
Because that show's not great. Fine. It's just like you're not worried so much about whether Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to survive Darth Vader.
It's like the movie Betty.
He's going to survive Darth Vader.
Yeah.
No, Better Call Saul is the exact same show because you're watching these characters point guns at each other, but you know Breaking Bad, so you go, well, that guy ain't dying. That guy's going to survive this episode because I know where he ends up.
But I disagree. I disagree with that because you get to know who Saul is.
I'm loving. I'm saying.
And you know more about Mike, right? That's the whole premise of the show. Right. You know more about Jimmy. You know more about Mike.
The movie, The Titanic, is the best example of the whole thing. The whole movie, you're like, oh, this thing's fucking going down, and you're like, this is a really good movie. Like, The Titanic's a great film. No,
it's fucking terrible.
Are you insane?
That movie's fucking terrible.
Are you high as a kite?
Yes.
Mulligan.
But also,
did you see Titanic in the movie? Yeah, in the movie theater. It's fantastic.
Yes, I did, and I thought, why did they need to make this movie worse by sinking rare pieces of art that didn't sink? Because we all know what art they are. Like they made it.
What happened to you as a child that you couldn't just sit back? That's
whatever happened in Ithaca.
But
I'm going to tell you, Avatar.
Also, I've met Victor Garber, and way before he was out, I met him at something, and he touched my hair, and he was like, "You've got fabulous hair." And I just remember thinking, "Oh my God, Victor Garber is gay."
He was in hair. He is gay, and he was in hair. He did the hair, didn't he?
I don't know.
I believe Victor Garber was in like the first production.
I believe it was Crimes and Misdemeanors.
It was not. If it bends, it's funny.
Kate, I almost just spit my drink back in.
My favorite thing to talk about ever is which celebrities are shitty.
Are shitty?
Shitty. I hate shit people.
God, I have
you guys, everybody on the count of 3, say somebody that's shitty and then explain why it's Zach Braff. Go.
Because he's the only one that's on Raya. That's why it's Zach Braff. He's the only one on Raya.
He's the worst. Oh, he's the actual worst human.
He has like fucked over every person.
Did you feel it? Did you feel it take a right turn?
I felt like I literally, even in my gut.
But Celia agrees with me. Do you know anybody?
You guys know what Raya is? Do you know what Raya is? No.
It's like the high-end.
If I were single, I'd be on Raya.
Right, the celebrity dating app. Yeah, Raya literally consists of Zach Braff and Jeremy Piven's. I'm just saying, that's it. That's all that's on Raya.
Listen, I'm still shocked about the Titanic. It's
terrible. That's a terrible movie.
All right, everyone who's commenting, thumbs up or thumbs down on the movie Titanic. It won a fucking 11 Academy Awards. It's a great film.
I'll be honest, I haven't rewatched it, but I loved it when it came out.
I remember on VHS, I would only watch the second tape because that's where everyone dies.
First of all,
Okay.
Color Purple didn't win any Academy Awards. That's fucked up because Hollywood's racist and they're cool with like a fucking group of white people going down in a ship, but not with, a really touching black story.
Color Purple's a hard watch. I'm not going to lie to you.
As opposed to Titanic?
Yes, the Titanic is a fantastic watch. It's a
Oh,
love story.
Terrible.
Yes,
I really like LeVar Burton.
I'm sold. Titanic is not a great film.
Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, Here's what I'm going to tell you, because Avatar 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are coming out soon, right?
Wait, isn't John Patrick Murphy? He's one of the pilots in Avatar.
He might be.
I love Kate Winslet too. I love most of the cast.
She's amazing. Billy
Yeah,
Zane.
but Titanic was bad.
Put your shit together, Celia.
I'll be honest, I didn't know tits could look like that.
You're fucking man.
Her tits?
Whose tits are you referring to currently?
Kate Winslet's in Titanic.
Watch Smoke. Okay, watch the movie Smoke. I want with Harvey Keitel.
Oh.
And go watch The Piano so you can see Harvey Keitel. It's a long. And watch Bad Lieutenant, and then watch the new Bad Lieutenant with Nick Cage. And
that's so many things to watch.
You're just skipping
Yeah,
over
watch
to
it.
dinner.
I don't know where he's going with this.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going back to James Cameron. Listen, the guy doesn't make bad movies.
Yes, he does.
What?
No,
he doesn't. No, he doesn't. James Cameron doesn't make bad movies.
I'm gonna pull it up.
But he does.
Celia, what is your bad Cameron movie?
No, my favorite Cameron movie is actually The Abyss. I'll give him that.
Oh, I do like that.
That's actually one of his worst ones.
No, that's the best. And also, everybody.
Terminator 2.
Yes, I agree. That one's my favorite of his, and The Abyss. I also have been told my whole life that I look like Mary Elizabeth.
Yes, you do. I can totally see that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Well, you got a little color of money on you.
I always like to be like, it's hard being a stone cold bitch, which is her line in.
Jimmy Nails, Titanic was bad? Are you crazy?
I'm telling you.
I didn't even want to like it, and I thought it was really good.
Freddie B, I am 1 degree away from Kevin Bacon.
I'm also 1 degree.
I'm
Aliens?
Kevin Bacon. Yeah, I'm a 1 degree away from Kevin Bacon.
Who is yours?
Wait, you don't like Aliens, Kate?
No, I'm saying I'm trying to think. No, I'm saying these are like movies Cameron's done. I don't know. I'm not finding too many bad ones.
Fan. I don't enjoy that movie.
I probably don't. I didn't like Avatar. So
well, listen, at the movie theater when it first came out, Avatar was a very good film. Even Lang in the come on. You guys don't.
It
was Fern Gully, but in live action.
Yes, it was a retelling of Fern Gully.
I loved Fern Gully.
It was like
I loved it.
I get it. Borrowers. It had the Borrowers vibe to it. I got that.
All right. Wait, who?
I was just happy to see the guy from Grandma's Boy do something.
Kevin Bacon's. What? How are we a degree away from Kevin?
Will and Grace. He did Will and Grace the week before me, and I'm sure he would be happy to hear this, but the wardrobe people were like, Kevin Bacon's waist was 28 inches. I was like, what? That's insanity.
Oh, I guess I'm 1 degree.
He was on the episode before me. I honestly, I hear amazing stories. Like we've turned into like a gossip show. Like,
I like it.
Tonight on Entertainment Tonight.
Wait, Kate, didn't you flip out the fuck on your kids earlier?
I did. I was gonna say I used to take class with Kira Sedgwick, bar method class before I started teaching there. So I feel like that means I'm 1 degree away from him, right?
Yeah, you're 1 degree away. What about you?
Sorry. Jason, are you any degrees away from Kevin?
Yes, I'm 1 degree away. He had a childhood friend who's good friends of ours that grew up together. And they have
this seems like nothing we can corroborate. So cool.
Well, they actually have pictures of them together at camp, like a summer camp. So
photo or it didn't happen.
Jason had a
I'm sorry, I didn't know I was going to have to bring show and tell today, Mulligan. Eat shit.
Wow.
I had a girlfriend in Canada.
So I'm
and Kevin Bacon very well.
Over Mulligan for a little while.
I'm friends with John Lithgow, so I'm going to just say that I think I win because I can email John Lithgow right now.
I have a good John Lithgow. Because I did Third Rock from the Sun.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and I think it might have been my first or second TV credit, and I had literally one line, and my line is package for Mr. Scoochie. But I had to enter, and so the whole time I literally have one line, and the whole week John Lithgow is just handful, 3 or 4 of the nicest people I've ever met. Send me Christmas cards. I had one line on the show. I got a Christmas card from like John Lithgow and the family. It was crazy.
From John and Mary.
Yeah, it was nuts. It was crazy. So we're sitting there and he invites everybody into his dressing room. He's got Charlie Chaplin's cane. His dressing room was like a museum of comedy. It's insane. The dude was like the coolest cat on earth. And so I'm like in the corner. He goes, "Oh, please, Jamie, come in, join us." And he brings me in. He's like the nicest person on earth. You're like, this is what acting is about. It's so great. And so the night of the shoot, I'm terrified. I have one line I have to enter, and he has to enter too. So in the dark, the two of us are standing in the dark against a wall by the door to enter.
I remember this now.
And I'm standing right next to him the whole time, and we're just for a long time. And he goes, "I know you only have one line, but make it worth it." And then he entered his entrance, and I was like, "Oh, fucking!" And then as soon as he entered, he shut the door, and I was like, "Fuck, what's my line again?" I couldn't remember my line. I was like, "God damn it, fucking package for Mr. Scoochie." And so I see John Lithgow, I'm like, he's just the nicest. There's a handful.
I went and saw him in a show that he was in New York. Like, I don't remember how long ago at this point, but we went to see it. I'm friends with his daughter-in-law. She's one of my oldest and dearest friends. And so I've been with John a bunch of times, and 2 things that have happened with John that just like make me fucking laugh was right after Dexter, his season of Dexter, which I was watching. So good. I went out to brunch with him and his family, and at some point the kids were bored. And so he was like, "I'm going to take them into the game room in whatever, hotel they were staying at or whatever." And I went in Aurora, actually, Jason, because you'll know where that was. Mm. And so I was like, "Okay." And he just turns and he just comes over to my youngest one, who's a baby at that time, Lulu. And he's like, "Can I take her with me as well?" And I just looked at him and I go, "John, I got to be honest with you. I just watched your season of Dexter. So like you taking my kids away from me at the moment." Like, he just laughs and he's just like, "Oh, well, thank God you knew me before. So you know that's not me." And he just picks up my baby and walks out the door. And I was like, "Ah!" Like it was just a bit much. And then the other time I was with him, I went to see a show that he was in New York. And then we went out, me and my girlfriend went out with him afterward. And we met up with, his wife and his daughter Phoebe, and Alfred Molina was in the bar, and it was like there's a place in New York. No
Dr.
joke.
Octopus?
Hold on. There's a bar.
A beautiful laundrette. Like he's the fucking king.
So on Restaurant Row, there's a bar in New York. It is
Chocolat.
I was going to say the guy from Chocolat.
Exactly. There's a bar in New York that's completely unmarked. You can't find it. You can't get in unless you're fucking famous. You don't go into this bar. There's no way to know. I know where it is now because I've been in it, but there's no way to know. It's not open to the public. So we go there with John after the show, and like Liev Shriver's in there. Like everyone's fucking in there.
I've been there, and I got really drunk.
Right.
Yeah, really drunk.
There it is on Restaurant Row. Right.
So you have to be really famous or Jamie. Cool. Got it.
I made
Two things are not mutually exclusive.
It's not. So we're in there, and
I got really drunk and embarrassing myself in front of Martin Short and Nathan Lane. It was.
But that is exactly right. And Nathan Lane was in there that night too, because apparently that's what Nathan does. Great, good for him. So we're in there, and Alfred was in a show, and John's in a show, and Alfred comes over to like say hi to John, and John said to him right away, was like, "Oh, I'm going to see your show very soon. It's on my list." And Alfred responds with, "Oh, I'm not going to see yours because I actually don't think you're a very good actor." And John just didn't have like a concept that it was sarcasm for like a good minute. And he just looks at him like, and then Alfred starts laughing. And then all of a sudden John's like, "Oh my God, he's kidding." And we were like, oh, it was so fucking funny.
Alfred Molina is one of the greatest.
Molina's a savage.
Nobody knows his name, but Alfred Molina, his body of work is stupid. He's so
stupid. And also, you forget that he's not from here.
I hear it. I would argue that Not Saul is right, because I would read books and it would say Dakota Millen, McKay Winslet, as she does a prison term. So I love her. That being said, Titanic is mid-tier as hell, and it robbed LA Confidential at the Oscars.
He's referencing The Reader in the first part, right?
Confidential is a better movie. Absolutely.
Of course it is.
I agree with Not Saul.
Oh, Bar Central on 46th. It's a speakeasy that's been there since the 20th. Is
Yes.
that right?
And yes, you're
Maybe.
correct.
I honestly don't
Way
know
to
what
blow
the
it, Sal.
I walked in with somebody.
That's
who
not all. You're correct. That is what it is, and you can't get. It's like the third floor, and you can't get in unless you're a celebrity. You have to like know a code and all kinds of crazy shit. It's
And then I
crazy.
think I was escorted out very quickly. I got pretty.
I did. I was there.
And I was fighting it with alcohol, and that's not a great way to fight allergies at the time. I was like,
Wait, we still haven't heard about how Kate flipped out on her
I
kids.
drink it out of.
Oh yeah, Kate. How did you flip out on your cat?
Well,
With
so
not Saul, we're going with not Saul.
we're going with not Saul.
I'm going to be in New York in July. We're going to the bar with
Not
Wait,
Saul.
Taylor, I'll come down.
Wait,
You guys,
Kate, how did you
unfortunately,
flip out?
unfortunately, not Saul is staying in my home right now, so he will not be in New
Wait,
York.
is he staying in my room?
That's his room now, Jason.
No, my room. The gardener told me.
So today, so my kids had their first day of swim lessons today, and
Oh, wait,
it was
hold on. Just really quick. Are we going to talk about? Because honestly, I was really enjoying for like about the last half hour. I forgot I had kids. Did you guys feel that way too?
yes. Sorry. Okay, we don't have to talk. I can save this for
Bring it
next
home.
week.
Go back to the other
Kids
stuff. That was
again,
super
Kate.
fun.
Make me feel shitty again. Go ahead, talk about kids.
Well, no, I feel shitty about this because I didn't do great adulting today. Basically, the boys had swim lessons. It was freezing cold today. So usually we can stay after and keep swimming at the pool, but we didn't. So today I was like, all right, let's get changed. I drove them. I was like, oh, we're going to go to mini golf. So we go to this mini golf course. I'd asked the boys when we got back to the house in between. I was like, does anybody have to pee? No, nobody has to pee. Okay, great. Go out. Hole 10. Neil needs to pee. I'm like, okay. So, we're leaving, but then we're not going to be able to get back in line because it's just like, so we're going to have to just leave. No, it's okay. I don't have to go. I'm like, no, it's fine. And I can tell I'm annoyed because I've just paid $16 for it, but who cares? It doesn't matter. Like he's listening to his body. He's advocating for himself. I can't make him feel bad about having to pee. Great. Okay. So we're leaving. They don't have a bathroom there. We have to go to the driving range. So we go there and we're all in just a single bathroom. And James has a habit of wanting to pee. They'll like the Ghostbusters say not to. They like to cross the streams. Yeah, they like to cross the streams. But James will, as a joke, he's the 4-year-old, really wants to use his penis as a weapon. And I'm like, a penis is not a weapon. We cannot advocate for this. Nope. How dare you both? You are lucky it's anywhere near my mouth.
I'm sorry, but it is kind of a weapon.
No.
Look at Celia.
It is a love tool.
Celia, you're the tiebreaker here.
I'm sorry. I'm with them at this point, Kate.
It can be used. Listen,
It can be a weapon.
a ball hammer is a tool and a weapon. So let's just put it in different categories. It's true. It's a bike. That's the biker's first choice because you can't get arrested for having a ball-peen hammer, but it's a fucking great weapon. Pop little holes in people's skulls. It's a great weapon. But anyway,
Yeah, this took a dark turn.
yeah,
And it wasn't me for once. And it wasn't me
It's
for
gonna
once.
be like I've been smacked across the face by both a hammer and no.
Listen, listen,
Wait,
listen. I'm not saying that it can't be consensually used as a weapon. I am saying I am not trying to. So basically, I see that James is peeing in the bowl, and then I see that he is actively peeing over the back, peeing on the tank. It's now, and I grow, and Neil's going, no, James, no, and I grow fucking furious. I'm like, this is not how we behave in public. This is disgusting. Other people have to use this bathroom. And then Neil goes, you're using your loud voice on me. I'm like, you've got to separate when you're getting in trouble and when someone near you's getting in trouble. Did you pee on the back of the seat? No. Did you? Then you're not in trouble. Stop making it about you. And I go back to the 4-year-old. I'm like, wash your hands. And I'm cleaning up. There's piss all over this bathroom.
God, no.
And at some point, James goes, he's like, it was just in my pants. I'm like, no, it wasn't. He goes, Mom, I'm really sorry. I'm like, no, you're not, because if you were sorry, you wouldn't have done it. We're going home. Take them home. And then I realized James is still saying, he's like, but my pants. And so I come home and I ask Neil in the basement. I was like, just be honest with me. What I saw from where I was standing was James was peeing in the toilet. And he goes, and then Neil goes, yeah, but then his pants flipped up. And I was like, oh. So let me ask you, is it possible?
Yeah, it happens.
Okay.
That's a real thing. That's
So
totally
I then had to apologize to my 4-year-old. I'm like, Neil just explained to me that your pants did flop up and it wasn't your fault. And I'm really sorry. I made a mistake and I hope you can forgive me for making that mistake. From what I saw, it looked like you did it on purpose, but I'm sorry. I should have done better listening. But it was the worst. I mean, I was really like such a nightmare and then had to walk it all back. But wow, I really don't understand how penises work.
Did he eat tidy whities?
No, I have them in boxer briefs.
Oh, good for you.
It's still the waistband.
Here's the thing, and
There's still a waistband.
I hate to
There's
be
still a
a dead
waistband.
horse, but this is why you don't bring the help on vacation.
Also, to be fair, you took your kids fucking mini golf. Yeah, that's on you, dude. That's on you. That's
mini golf.
They loved it. Well, I thought they were going to love it, but I really ruined it for them by screaming at them both. But Neil really does. Neil, I mean, it's
someone's birthday.
Neil has such a tender heart.
Neil is such a tender heart, but there was a day he came home from school hysterical. And I was like, why? He wouldn't talk to me. And I'm like, what happened? And he's like, some kids got in trouble. And I was like, what about you? He's like, no. And I was like, and then it turns out, like, when I finally got the story out of him, the teacher had been like, okay, everyone needs to come sit on the carpet. We have to talk about what just happened. And he was crying hysterically. The teacher notices and she was like, Neil, I'm not talking about you. And he was like, anyway, I felt bad. I apologized. By the way,
Transformer.
Yeah.
Kate, I have a funny thing that happened here. So Jace found out that I was cavorting with other children in California, and I brought the puzzle home that your son made me. Jace was so jealous that he ripped pieces of the puzzle apart and threw them out because he was like, he said to me,
I get it.
Who gave this to you? And I said, my friend Neil. How do you know him? And he I felt like I cheated. Like he grilled me like I had.
You're like, don't worry. The younger one absolutely hates me because I kept referring to him as the gardener. So I only had one friend.
He goes, and I know that 3D printed shy guy that Neil made me is on life alert because he looks at me and goes, where did that come from? And I'm like
my friend Kate.
My friend Kate. Her son Neil gave it to me. Uh-huh.
Oh God.
So that thing's on borrowed time because the puzzle.
It's not what you think. It's not what you think.
So we're just friends. We're just friends.
I have an explanation. It's your. I got it.
I slept there for 4 days. I COVID tested every 9 hours. It was all on the up and up.
We're just friends. All right, listen. We're way over time.
We gotta go. It's 10:30 where I am. I have to get up in a minute for swim lessons.
Oh, you're on the other side of it. Okay.
Oh, look at the baby.
Huge thanks to
Celia,
who's going to be joining us regularly.
He have all his limbs. Can we just look at my cat?
You boss! Look at you, gorgeous.
His leg and his tail and one testicle.
What's his name?
George Michael.
Of course it is.
I have George Michael. I have 2 cats, George Michael and Maybe. They are named after Arrested Development.
Yes.
And then my children have grown up calling my parents Genki and Pop Pop. And just recently, my older daughter realized that Genki and Pop Pop were the characters in Arrested Development and was like, oh my God, is that why you've always had us call them that? And I said, yeah. And she goes, do they know that? And I go, no.
You're like, the money's in the banana stand.
We just started Arrested Development. We're halfway
Did you finally pull the trigger on it?
Yeah, I'm like,
so good.
The episode I watch, I'm like, how did I not see? And by the way, I'm in an episode.
You're in the fire episode.
Firefighter in one. I
think I knew that actually because I
never had watched the show, and so we started it, and it's so one of the best written shows I've ever seen.
It's the best. That and Schitt's Creek. If you haven't watched Schitt's Creek, it's like
I will give everyone one more plug. Danny Boyle, one of the greatest filmmakers we've seen, Trainspotting, 127 Hours, everything else. He has a 6-part miniseries called The Pistol. Based on Steve Jones' autobiography on Hulu, and it's about the formation of the Sex Pistols. It is really
Oh, I
Oh my
bet.
God. Okay. All right. I'll watch
Good.
that.
All right, listen, we have to wrap this show. Thank you to everybody who watched the show. If you shared the show, we love you guys. Thank you so much for doing it. Please follow.
Share it now if you haven't already.
And check out Celia. Tell everyone where they can come find you and watch. And
You can come and listen to our podcast at Never Thought I'd Say This on all of podcast apps. Tomorrow's not going to be a very funny show, but fuck it. Listen to my pain, please.
But honestly, we talk about that.
Tomorrow.
We do a lot of comedy and stuff, but we also, I think people need to vent and get stuff off their chest because we're all going through and like I really did want to put my fucking fist through the wall before the show started, but I feel a lot better now. But we also talk about real stuff, and I think that's what's great about your podcast, that you guys really address the real issues that parents are going through. So I love the show.
Thank you. And you can find me on Instagram at the Celia Behar. I just changed my profile picture and all kinds of shit.
Oh, I get to help.
Jason helped me. Yeah, Jason helped me because I was like, I need a change and I'm doing crazy. I cut off, like, I had hair down to here.
Oh, it looks amazing.
I cut it and it's red now. You know.
Yes, like from the abyss.
Yeah, it's weird. It's hard to be a stone cold bitch.
It's really great. All right. Listen, we love you all. Thank you for tuning in. Please spread the word. It's the Parents Lounge. And to all your parents out there, good luck. All right. We love you all.
Good night, everybody.